What is poppin' gamers, it's Crim, and we've had some fun-filled days with a new Blizzard cinematic release and also a new beta tuning build full of buffs, nerfs and bug fixes, including the long-awaited Subtlety Rogue nerf. The new cinematic, Afterlives Revendreth, is one of a 4-part series that Blizzard has released, which adds some depth and background to all 4 of the Shadowlands zones. I can recommend watching all of them, and I'll leave a link to the latest one in the description. The new beta tuning build saw some nerfs to the damage of the likes of Protection Paladin and Destruction Warlock, but also buffed, for example, the Guardian Druid, and, like I said, there was a substantial nerf to the Subtlety Rogue, which I will get to. Additionally, the Engineering Battle Res was also reintroduced. This was removed about a month ago, much to the dismay of many people, especially Mythic Plus players, but has now been re-added as a Shadowlands recipe. But without further ado, let's go to what you are all here for, the rogue changes. Let's start us off by having a look at the small changes, bug fixes and tooltip adjustments in this latest build. The Nightfey Covenant ability Sepsis has had its damage profile redistributed to put more emphasis on the damage over time effect of it rather than the final burst. By extension, this has also increased the value of the Sepsis Conduit, which further enhances this periodic damage effect. If you read the patch notes, you probably would have seen that there was a supposed Bone Spike change, the Necrolord Covenant ability. However, this was just a facing requirement fix that was still in the game, and the core functionality of the spell has not changed at all, and it is still very strong. Interestingly enough, there was no changes to the Kyrian Covenant ability Echo and Reprimand, and I'm quietly hoping that this means that Blizzard is reworking the spell entirely, even though we are getting close to the Shadowlands release. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we'll hear some news about this over the next few weeks. There was also a change to the Slaughter Conduit, which seems to have caught a lot of people off guard into thinking that it has been nerfed. However, it was just a wording change. Previously, this used to say that the crit chance of this conduit was increased by 100% when Slaughter Poison was active, and in this latest build has been reworded to say that the crit chance is now 24%. However, because the crit chance of this ability without Slaughter Poison active was 12%, the actual end result still is 100% extra crit chance, so the viability and functionality of this Conduit and Slaughter have not changed at all. And speaking of adjustments and tooltip adjustments more specifically, the Outlaw Legendary Power Celerity has finally had its tooltip adjusted to include the 15% damage increase during Adrenaline Rush. This functionality had been in the beta for some time already, and I'm glad to see that this was intentional. In my latest assassination video, I also said that this specific Outlaw Legendary power also works for the other 2 rogue specs, which of course meant that in this latest build, it has now been nerfed to only work for Outlaw. That's on me guys, I'm sorry. Let's move on then to the real substantial changes of this latest build with the nerfs to Subtlety Rogue, or more specifically the nerfs to the legendary power Akaari Soul Fragment. Previously, whenever you cast Shadow Strike or Cheap Shot, this would cast another Shadow Strike for free 2 seconds later at 100% effectiveness. Not only did this mean 100% of the damage, it also meant that you got the 2 combo points that the first Shadow Strike gave you for free. This led to an enormous positive feedback loop, resulting in extremely high uptime on Shadow Dance. In the latest build, this spell has now been reworked to cast a second Shadow Strike at 50% effectiveness, and it no longer gives combo points. The whole feedback loop is now dead, but the second Shadow Strike now deals shadow damage instead of physical. This means that it ignores armor, so the actual nerf is less than 50%. Plus it has great synergy with the Deeper Daggers Conduit that Subtlety will most certainly be using, that increases the shadow damage that you do. All in all, it has brought this legendary down, more in line with the other legendaries, but it will probably still be the go-to legendary in single target. More importantly, Subtlety has now been knocked down a peg or 2, bringing them more in line with the other 2 rogue specs. However, talking from a purely numbers perspective, it is probably still slightly better. And with that, you are once again up to date on all things rogue. If you have enjoyed the video and my content, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. If you have any questions or comments, or if there's something that you would like to see, Leave it down below in the comments or come chat to me on my stream at twitch.tv/crimwow. I hope you guys have a fantastic day and I will see you in the next video.